Endelig var det slutt på å banke på stengte dører for a-ha. Nå var det management-teamet som skulle jobbe for dem. Og det første som skjedde var at rettighetene til a-has låter ble solgt til et forlag.
Pål og Morten reiste til Kanariøyene og blåste hele forskuddet der. Jeg kjøpte meg en gammel brukt Rover. Og så var vi like punk igjen egentlig, for vi trodde da at dette her skulle gå sinnssykt fort. Nå var vi in the green.
Så startet arbeidet med å få en internasjonal platekontrakt.
Terry hadde satt opp en sånn showcase nede i Roundover Studio, hvor vi satt i et sånt knøttlite rom, og tre av oss liksom med litt sånn trommer og bass på backing tape, så skulle liksom spille, og så kom det ene selskapet etter det andre.
Og da hadde han lagt opp til litt sånn at det skulle bli liksom budkrig, og dette skulle bli liksom big... Det ble det jo egentlig ikke, altså.
Ingen plateselskap var interessert. Spesielt for Terry Slater, som hadde signet så mange store artister i sin tid på EMI, var dette en skikkelig nedtur. Men gjennombruddet kom da en gammel barndomsvenn dukket opp. Andrew Wickham hadde jobbet i hovedkvarteret til Warner i California siden midten på 60-tallet. Han var nå beordret til London-kontoret for å signe nye engelske talenter direkte til USA. Terry Slater inviterte ham til å komme og høre på a-ha. Det ble full klaff.
Det var vel egentlig bare Warner som var ordentlig interessert.
So we finally signed a contract, and that was just before Christmas in 1983. And what a relief it was. What a relief.
Pete Townsends studio Eelpie ble booket i 6 uker for å lage a-has første LP. Den kjente plateprodusenten Tony Mansfield ble hyret inn. Men samarbeidet mellom Mansfield og a-ha skar seg fra første dag i studio. a-ha hatet resultatet av innspillingen.
Han ville ikke høre på demoer i hele tatt, så alt annet arbeid vi hadde lagt ned der, det betydde ingenting for han. Det var kun melodien og teksten, og så begynte vi fra scratch liksom.
Andrew Wickham tok med seg opptakene til Tony Mansfield og dro til USA for å presentere a-ha for sjefene i Warner.
And I played it for them. And I also had signed Linda Thompson, Richard Thompson's wife, the folk singer. I took that out too. I played the Linda Thompson to all the Warner's A&R staff and vice presidents. Standing ovation at the table. Standing ovation. I played a-ha, Hunting High and Low, Take On Me. Not interested.
And I had a phone call from Terry, sounding absolutely mad. This baby of ours, suddenly, we were getting a negative feedback. Andrew had said he didn't like the sound that Tony Mansfield had got, and was threatening to drop the deal.
John Ratcliffe tar nå en beslutning som får store konsekvenser for hans videre samarbeid med a-ha.
We told the group to go back to Norway for a rest. I went into the studio on my own with a new engineer.
Etter bare en uke kommer a-ha tilbake til London, for de har hørt ryktene om at John har gått alene i studio for å remixe Mansfields produksjon.
Paul and Mags came down. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning. I rang them at their flat in Fulham. They've now got a better class of flat. And they sat at the back, they listened to it, and they said, "John, you shouldn't have done that." And they walked out. And I've never told this to anyone.
Fra da vennskapet med John Ratcliffe slutt. a-ha tar nå tilbake kontrollen, og Take On Me blir gitt ut i Norge og England høsten 1984. I Norge blir det stor ståhei for a-ha og mye presseomtale. Men Take On Me kommer ikke lenger enn en 3. plass på VG-lista.
Og John Ratcliffe har den der kjempeideen at vi skal lage video med noen sånne strippere, liksom. Så hadde han jo ikke sånn øverste valg med sånn budsjett på strippere, så det er ikke bare... Det var en periode hvor vi på en måte prøvde å finne ut egentlig hvor vi i landskapet når vi har prøvd å få ting opp og gå så mange ganger at vi må ikke være negative, liksom.
Men i England selger Take On Me bare 300 eksemplarer. I London det katastrofestemning.
Fordi vi har enda den situasjonen her på en måte signet til statene, men vi i London, og det ganske uklart hvem som egentlig skal være vår... Vi har en A&R-type, men han jobber i London, men han jobber for det amerikanske selskapet, så det ingen som tar egentlig ansvar, sånn i første tiden.
Andrew Wickham må bare se i øynene at investeringene som var gjort i AHA-prosjektet i ferd med å gå tapt. Og da kunne AHAs karriere endt. Men det gjorde den ikke. Det som skjedde var som i et eventyr. En dag i denne vanskelige perioden fikk Wickham besøk fra Warners hovedkontor i California.
He was showing me different bands and he wanted me to do a video with somebody, I don't know, may have been Linda Thompson or somebody like that. And there was a picture of AHA on his desk, and I said, "Who's that?" Because it was an intriguing picture, you know. And so that's how basically he said, well, I got to sign this band from Norway, and, you know, they're really phenomenal looking, and listen to the way this guy sings. And it was interesting to me because of the way Morton sang, and I thought the song was different. You know, the song is a tough song. It wasn't easy to make that song a hit.
And what had happened is Jeff Ayeroff had gone into an American vice president's meeting, and they said, "What's happening in England, Jeff? How's Chrissie Hynde doing? How's this? And what about Johnny Rotten? And what about Boy George? What's happening with Boy George?" He said, "Forget it." He said, "This is what we're doing. This is going to be unbelievable." And he put on the same music. This is how the record business works. The same tunes that I played in New York. He put the same stuff on, and they all went, "Great, wonderful," because he was the hot potato.
I had done a lot of work for Warner Brothers, and I had a lot of, what you might say, power. I could do what I wanted to at a certain point, because people trusted that I would come up with something interesting, because I had a group of people with me, or surrounding me, working with me, that were doing good work.
De sier, glem Europa. De sier til det engelske selskapet, ikke gjør noe mer. Vi vil ikke at dere gjør noen ting med det bandet. Vi skal breake det bandet her, og ingen andre får lov til å gi ut den plata nå.
Because I grew up listening to Roy Orbison, who has a range just like Morton's. And Roy Orbison always had this kind of operatic rock and roll reputation. You know, that's what they used to say about Roy Orbison. So in the back of my mind, when I heard Morton sing, I thought, well, this isn't like normal rock and roll. This isn't like normal pop music. This is something else. And so I wanted to, and he obviously didn't look like a normal person. He looked like a really, like Elvis was unusually handsome. He was unusually handsome. So I took those two elements and kind of went, okay, what do I do with this? And then it was just sort of like, let him come out of a cartoon.
Jeff asked me to do some drawings for him because he wanted to make sure I could draw faces, and that when I drew the face, it was going to look like Morton, and it was going to look like Paul and Mags. Once they had confidence in the fact that they liked the way the guys looked, and I think Jeff was always very much into doing something new, you know, so the whole thing fit. And after that, he never asked any questions.
So kind of synchronicity happens. I have this animator in the back of my head. I go see Andy Wickham. Here's this band. That's kind of interesting. You know, okay, who do I trust in the world who's done videos for me, who's got a very fertile mind and can technologically deal with this stuff? And I thought, Steve Barron.
Animation in music videos is usually prohibitive because of time and money. We have, you know, we never have enough money, and we certainly never have enough time. We never have months to do it. You want it in 2 weeks' time. You want it next week. Or so I said, if you gave us, you know, £100,000 and went away for 3 months and 4 months and left us to do it, then we could do animation. And he was, you know, he said, well, you know, that's what we'll do. I'll make sure we do that. I met the guys. They came over from Norway, and we sat down and I talked about the whole concept. And actually I remember meeting them because they were put in some tiny little hostel. Even though they had this massive amount of money being spent on them for this video, they still were, you know, 3 of them sleeping in the same room in little kind of camp beds in a hostel. And I remember thinking, I think I even said to Morton at the time, I said, you know, one day you'll look back at this and you'll think, you know, we were in that little place, like kind of camping out, you know, talking about big ideas, and if they all work out, then you'll never be in a place like that again.
I London hadde AHA fått overtalt Warner til å få spille inn Take On Me på nytt fra grunnen av. og Alan Tarney kommer inn som ny produsent.
Jeg husker jeg gikk inn på kontoret til Andrew Wickham med Take On Me-teipen når den var ferdig, og så sa jeg liksom, sånn skal det høres ut.
Filmopptakene ble gjort på 2 dager i London, tidlig på våren 1985.
We cast the girl Bunty. I looked through a number of girls to be the right sort of girl next door dancer as possible, somebody who had good movement and a good spirit, and would be a good match with Morton. And we got her in, and I showed Morton pictures, and she said, "Oh, that's fine, that's good." And we went to film, and they had a few scenes together in the film, and even when he leads her through the portal down into the world of the comic, Morton is taking Bunty through by the hand, and he was quite shy to, even to pull her hand and everything, and there was obviously something going on between them. And we did, after about 5 or 6 takes, we would start them at, I'd say cut, and we'd start at the beginning. And I noticed after take 5 or 6 that their hands didn't part. They stayed together, and they'd walk back to their first mark holding hands as well. It was so sweet, it was so cute, it was so innocent, but it started there. They had a relationship that went on for quite some time. It was his first real relationship with a girl.
Steve Bannon sa til meg, Morten, jeg må ha et ord med deg. Det ikke, du kommer til å skyte flere videoer, sånn. Det må ikke... Jeg vil bare ha nevnt det.
Så tar etterarbeidet med den banebrytende videoen 4 måneder. For dette var lenge før datagrafikkens tid, så alt måtte gjøres manuelt. Jeff Aroff lot MTV få snikkikke mens sluttarbeidet pågikk.
I took her with me to go look at Michael doing the animation, because for all of us this was just kind of a goof. We didn't know what we were doing half the time. Much of it was theoretical. And so for the executives at MTV, I liked them to see the back room work. And especially this one, because it was a guy in a room drawing thousands of pictures just to make a video. I want to show them how hard we were working to do this cool little video for this band from Norway. And I took her in there, and it was like she'd never seen anything like it.
Mens Warner forbereder lanseringen av Take On Me, oppholder a-ha seg stort sett i Norge.
Record company, people said, well, if you've got an artist, and especially if they're good looking, you just show them. That's all you do. You show them, and that's all you need to do. Don't put anything else in. And Jeff had the opposite idea. He said, you know what, you save them up. You hold them back. If they are great, you hold them back, and then you give a little teaser of them, and then people will want more. And he was absolutely right about that.
De ble interessert i å gjøre det fra Norge, for det var eksklusivt. Det var så annerledes og spesielt at de ville gjøre det her.